Okay, we are going to start the meeting. It is now 7 o'clock. Before we start though, Councillor Harper, you are not appearing on screen right now, but you are not muted. So perhaps if you can mute yourself, but if you'd like to be on screen.
Yeah, excuse me, I'm trying to figure that out, but I will mute myself.
Okay, sounds good. There we go. Okay, so it is 7 o'clock and I will call the meeting to order. This is the regular council meeting of the Township of Nipigon for Tuesday, May the 12th, 2026 at the Municipal Office Council Chambers at 52 Front Street. Start with our land acknowledgements as always. In the spirit of reconciliation, the Corporation of the Township of Nipigon respectfully acknowledges it is located on the traditional lands of the Red Rock Indian Band, signatory to the Robinson Superior Treaty of 1850. And the township further respectfully acknowledges the historic presence of other signatories on these lands. All right, and before we go in to the meeting, I just wanted to let you know that our student councilors have sent their regrets for this evening. So that's been noted in the minutes. There is one addendum to the agenda under Public Works RFQ award. It was in the package, but it just needed to be separated out into a separate item because there is a resolution for the RFQ award. All right, everyone's okay with that? Yeah. Okay. Item number 2, disclosure of pecuniary interests. Does anyone have disclosure? Okay. I do have a disclosure of pecuniary interest for item 10A. Video report 2605081 as I am an employee of Superior Country, so I will have that over. And so oh, Councillor Harper, I just looked up now, you figured it out. Good job.
There's a resolution to approve the amended agenda.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do that. And just so you know, Councillor Harper, it's your turn to be the deputy mayor when I step out of the room for that part. The meeting. Okay. So we do have to have a resolution for the amended agenda here. Who would like to move? Councillor Westhaver would like to second. Councillor Cartwright. We're you can block it. Yeah. Resolution 2026-092 by Councillor Westhaver, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council approves the agenda for the meeting minutes of May 12th, 2026. Oops.
Some minutes in there, strike that.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
The agenda approves the agenda. Okay, so I'll reread that. Be it resolved that this council approves the agenda for the meeting of May 12th, 2026 as amended. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, so we did the disclosure of pecuniary interest, and next on our agenda is item number 3. Delegations. So we have Rosie Busy, partner with Dome Grant Thornton LLP for the draft 2022 Township of Nipigon financial statements. So we'll have Rosie go through and present the statements, and then we can follow up with any questions. So we'll just make sure that we can hear Rosie.
Thanks very much, Your Worship and council members. Are you able to hear me all right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. Would you prefer that I share my screen with the financial statements, or have you all got them in front of you?
We have them in front of us. So
okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So thank you very much for having me here this evening. Shahat Singh, who was the accountant who executed most of the audit, was unable to attend, or I would have had him attend as well. I will take you through the draft financial statements, and if you just turn to the very first page past the title page, we'll see the Statement of Administrative Responsibility. So this is a statement whereby, and it's a requirement for public sector accounting board standards, but just a requirement to acknowledge to any users of the financial statements that as management of the corporation, management is responsible for the accuracy and integrity of the financial statements. And they are prepared in accordance with public sector accounting board standards. In fulfilling its responsibilities and recognizing limits inherent in all systems, administration has developed systems of internal control to protect and safeguard the assets of the organization, of the municipality. Council reviews and approves the financial statements before the statements are submitted, to the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing and published to the residents. And you do have an opportunity to meet with us as your external auditor to discuss the audit and the results of the examination. And then it just goes on to indicate that these statements are being reported on by Doan Grant Thornton, LLP, and the independent auditor's report outlines the scope of the audit. So pages 1 and 2, the pages numbered 1 and 2 in the draft that you have represent our independent auditor's report. So the first couple of paragraphs are our opinion paragraph, speaks to the financial statements that we've audited. And then the second part of that section of the auditor's report just indicates that in our opinion, the financial statements do present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the township at December 31st, 2022, and the results of its operations and accumulated surplus, changes in net financial assets and cash flows for the year then ended. Speaks to the fact that we conduct our audit in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards. Goes on to speak to the responsibilities of management and those charged with governance for the financial statements. So the fact that management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements. And that they're responsible for assessing the municipality's ability to continue as a going concern. And then you, as those charged with governance, are responsible for overseeing the township's financial reporting process. And then the last page enumerates the auditor's responsibilities with respect to the financial statements, just ensuring that users understand some of the scope of the audit and what it is that we do. So it just speaks to the fact that our objective is to obtain reasonable assurance as to whether the statements are, as a whole, free from material misstatement. And as part of our audit, in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We look for areas where we feel there is a risk of material misstatement, and we focus our attention in those areas. We obtain an understanding of internal control relevant to the audit in order to design our audit procedures that are appropriate. We evaluate the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates in the financial statements. We conclude on management's use of the going concern basis of accounting. We look at the overall presentation and structure and ensure that it's presented in a manner that achieves fair presentation. And we obtain sufficient appropriate audit evidence with respect to any other entities that are consolidated into these statements. And then finally, we communicate with you about our scope and timing and any significant audit findings. So moving on to page number 3, your statement of financial position, or the balance sheet of the municipality at December 31st, 2022. Your total financial assets at the end of the year were $5.9 million as compared to $6.4 million the year prior. The most significant fluctuation from 2021 to 2022 is in the accounts receivable balances. And those fluctuate each year, just dependent on the HST receivable at the end of the year, as well as any significant grants outstanding at year end. So in 2022, you had a couple of significant sources of funding that were outstanding at year end and received subsequent to year end. That's your OSIF monies, about $200,000 were outstanding, and then about $400,000 outstanding for ISIP funding. And then your HST balance at the end of 2022 was $367,000. So again, those fluctuate year over year just based on what activities the municipality is undertaking. Looking at your total liabilities at year end, just over $2 million, almost $2.1 million this year as compared to $2.5 million the end of the previous year. Your accounts payable and accrued liabilities are made up of trade accounts payable, so invoices received and not yet paid at year end. You also have a couple of older accruals in there for projects that were undertaken actually prior to 2020, a few projects undertaken prior to 2020 that have not been billed to the municipality. So that's something that we did discuss with management, and they'll be looking into those to determine whether they really will ever be billed and payable by the municipality, or if it's time to reverse those, just to follow up on those and possibly reverse them if you will not be billed by the related suppliers. Your deferred revenue balance went down significantly from 2021 to 2022, and that's primarily because of the use of gas tax funds that had accumulated and had not been spent yet, as well as OSIF funding, again, that you had received but had not yet spent, that you used for your McCurdy Avenue project in the year. So you had received those funds, hadn't spent them, so they were sitting as deferred revenue balances, but in the current year you actually did utilize them, so they come out of deferred revenue and they reflect as grant revenue. So we'll see those when we get to your income statement or your statement of operations. Otherwise, we've got your vested sick leave liability, your other current liabilities, which are primarily prepaid taxes or unapplied taxes, and then your landfill closure and post-closure liability, which is just been adjusted for based on consumption in the year. So the municipality's net financial assets at the end of the year, $3.8 million. And you've got the net book value of your tangible capital assets at $28.5 million. So that you had additions in the year of about $1.5 million in 2022. Much of that was the work done on McCurdy Avenue, as well as some water and sewer main work that was done. And then the water treatment plant high lift pump that was acquired. And your amortization expense for the year was $885,000. So an overall net increase of about $700,000 to the net book value. And your accumulated surplus at the end of the year, $32.3 million. When we get to Schedule 1, we'll show you a breakdown of what makes up those accumulated surplus balances. So moving along to the consolidated statement of operations and accumulated surplus. So this particular page is summary of all your revenue for the year. So we're looking at the center column, which are your 2022 actual balances. So your total revenue for the year was $5.9 million, much of which was on track from a budget perspective. You do see a few anomalies. So your taxation was just about right on budget. User fees and service charges, very similar to what you had budgeted for. Government transfers is where we see some fluctuation from what was budgeted for. Your Province of Ontario funding, $1.9 million, is made up of your OMPF funding, but then also your the gas tax monies that you spent in the year, $300,000, and the OSIP funding that you spent from your deferred revenue balances of $440,000. So that's the reason for the difference from your budget. And then your other revenue, $373,000. Investment income is higher than what you budgeted for. So there's a couple of reasons for that. One being that generally you don't budget for the interest revenue that's going to be transferred to reserves. that relates to your reserves and your reserve funds. Plus the fact that in 2022, the interest rates were incredibly high. So you did earn a lot more interest in that year as compared to previous years. So again, total revenue for the year, $5.9 million. And if we turn to the next page, page number 5 is the expense side of your statement of operations. So looking again at the center column, which is your 2022 actuals, your operating expenses, and again, these are just your operating expenses because your capital additions have been capitalized on the balance sheet or on the statement of financial position. So your operating expenses for the year, $5.4 million as compared to a budget of $4.9 million. Your general government is slightly higher than what you had budgeted for, and that's a result of vacation and leave of absence payments, much higher than what you had budgeted, just by virtue of a couple of employees that were off during that year. Protection to persons and property a little bit higher than what you had budgeted for. Your policing costs came in higher, about $70,000 higher than what was budgeted. And then just some protective clothing that came in higher than budget as well. Transportation services, somewhat higher than budget as a result of some salaries, lines being a little bit higher than what you had budgeted for, as well as expenses related to the marina parking lot that were not in your original budget. Most of the others, the remaining departments were very close to budget, other than planning and development, lower than budget, primarily in the economic development area. Your expenses came in lower than what you had budgeted for. So your net revenue before small loss on disposal of tangible capital assets, $505,000, giving you an annual surplus of $505,000. You add that to your opening accumulated surplus of $31.8 million, gets us to the ending accumulated surplus balance of $32.3 million. The next page is the consolidated statement of change in net financial assets. So this statement is really just performing a reconciliation from your annual surplus or deficit to the net financial asset balance that we saw in the statement of financial position at year end. And then the next statement is the statement of cash flows. So this is really just providing users with information about the sources and uses of cash to the municipality in the year. So generally speaking, a municipality generates cash or much of its cash through operations. So in the current year, your operations generated $1.2 million in cash. You acquired tangible capital assets of $1.5 million, giving you a net decrease in your cash balances for the year of $240,000. So at the end of the year, this all reconciles to your ending bank balance of $4,171,000. I will not read you through all of the notes to the financial statements, but just bring your attention to a few of them. Just need to find the page, I apologize. So taking a look, if you turn to page 18, note number 12, this just provides you with information about the activity in your reserves and reserve funds. So there were no changes to your reserves during the year, but with respect to your reserve funds, you had a net contribution from operations. So you approved transfers to your reserve funds in the year of $183,000. And then you earned interest on those reserve funds, the $89,000 of interest on those reserve funds. So overall, your reserves and reserve funds went up by $272,000 in the year. And so if we move along to Schedule 1 to the financial statements, This schedule provides you with information about the accumulated surplus balances at the end of the year. So taking a look at your surpluses, you've got your operating fund balance at the end of the year, $488,000. The library deficiency of $24,000. Your net investment in tangible capital assets is $28.5 million. And then you've got your unfunded liabilities. So your employee benefits and post-employment benefits, as well as your your landfill closure and post-closure liability, which are liabilities set up but not funded and not you haven't expensed those as of yet, because the landfill liabiliity, it's anticipated that will be funded when the time comes to close and undertake the post-closure costs. And then we take a look, we've got a breakdown of your reserves and your reserve funds. So no change to your reserve balances of $323,000. And your reserve fund balances, as I said, as we saw earlier, $272,000 increase to your reserve fund balances. That's how we get to your ending accumulated surplus of $32.3 million. Schedule 2 is the schedule of tangible capital assets. So this provides you with a breakdown of your tangible capital assets by category, shows you the beginning balances, the additions and the disposals in the year, and then your amortization expense to reconcile to the ending net book value of your assets. And then the final schedule, Schedule 3, is really providing information. It's breaking down your revenues and your expenses by department, and providing your expenses in a different fashion. So providing information about your expenses by object instead of by department. So you can see overall the expenses in a different, broken out differently from the statement of operations. So I will pause there, Your Worship.
Okay, so are you okay to take some questions now if we have any? Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Rosie? Okay. All right, thank you very much for making yourself available to present, and stick around and watch if you want, but
Thank you. I will log off if that's okay. Thanks very much.
That's okay. Thank you so much.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Bye. All right. So again, it's before our time, so there's not really much, I mean, there's not really much to comment about at this point, so reading looks like it was in order on the councils. Any questions?
I just can't believe it wasn't addressed in both of them. That this audit happened at least a year after. Is that not normal? And how do we get 3-4 years behind?
So things really got behind due to a combination of COVID and our switch in the financial software.
Okay.
We had a couple of problems that delayed us, and with COVID, things just communication got
So
delayed,
you're just managing internally, no audits.
and it was just both things coming together to just kind of caught us off guard.
Okay.
But we plug forward and continue on. So what we're gonna do right now, I think, is we're going to approve our meeting minutes. And then we're gonna have a resolution for the to approve the financial statements, okay? All right, so we have our minutes from our last meeting here. from April 28th, 2026. Do you have any questions or concerns about those minutes? No? Okay, who would like to move to approve the regular meeting minutes of April 28th?
I'll move.
Oh, okay. Counselor Harper will move. Would you like to second Counselor Hart?
I guess.
Resolution 2026-093, moved by Counselor Harper, seconded by Counselor Hart. Be it resolved that this council approves the regular meeting minutes of April 28th, 2026 as presented. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. All right, and now we have our resolution to approve the 2022 audited financial statements. Who would like to move this?
Oh.
Counselor Cartwright, and seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Resolution 2026-094, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council approves the 2022 audited financial statements for the corporation of the township of Nipigon as presented. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. Yeah, if you're interested in leaving, you may leave now if you want.
Let's figure out the one.
Oh, yeah, okay. And I just want to say thank you to our deputy treasurer and to our CAO for really pushing that 2022 through. I know it was a bit of a slog because of all the doubled up, from my understanding, the double up ledger entries from moving between the two softwares, and hopefully 2023 will be a little bit easier. Yeah, okay, perfect.
You like the new software?
No.
Let's figure it out, doesn't it?
I think we're probably gonna think of doing a different one, but we gotta get our audited financial statements all cleared out first, right? Okay, council business, marina development plan, discussion and direction. So, this is just, we don't have anything in the package for it really. It's just something that I wanted to bring forward in our meeting tonight. A marina development plan is important for a lot of things, and I know I've talked about it a few times, but I really think that we need to provide official direction to council or to staff to start on a plan. We have to get funding for it first, obviously. I know we've been sort of waiting for the parking lot property to be released and everything. We just don't have a timeline for that. So our marina continues to deteriorate, and we need to have a plan so that we can apply for funding and do whatever it is that we need to do down there to fix up the docks and the land use and all that kind of thing. So is there any the other thing too is that it's part of it was identified as a priority in our recent tourism product development marketing plan, and it's always also identified as a priority in our strategic plan as well. And that's just something, I mean, we're in our 4th year now and just don't feel like it's gone moved at all in the last little while, and during our term. And so I think it's something that we gotta get on top of. So any comments or anything on that? Okay, so we do have a resolution here, and it's basically this council identifies the development of a marina development plan as a strategic priority, and that staff be directed to investigate funding opportunities and report back regarding scope, costs, and next steps. Who would like to move this resolution? Counselor Hart. Who would like to second? Counselor Westhaver. Resolution 2026-095, moved by Counselor Hart, seconded by Counselor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council identifies the development of a marina development plan as a strategic priority, and that staff be directed to investigate funding opportunities and report back regarding scope, costs, and next steps. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, next we have sundries, number 7A, there's the District of Thunder Bay Social Service Administration, so Thunder Bay DSAP Annual Report 2025. This is just information. Does anyone have any comments? No. B, well, yeah, anyone? No, okay. April 17th, 2025, District of Thunder Bay, again, DSAP Annual General Meeting Minutes. Any comments on those? And then we have March 19th, 2026, Thunder Bay DSAP regular meeting minutes. It's almost all DSAP in the Thunder District. Busy people. Any comments? No. Okay, and then we have the municipality of Wawa resolution to amend the land transfer tax. We have that just for information. Any comments on that one? No. Okay. Those package number 1, this was a big package, so open package number 2. Okay. So at this point, 8 public works. And we have our Public Works Report 2026-05-12-02. And I believe we have our Public Works Superintendent Taylor Haskell on the Zoom here. So Taylor, you want to present your report?
Yeah, and I'll stop after each item for questions or comments. So number 1, Nipigon Stormwater Management System 2025 Annual Performance Report. Staff have completed and submitted the Nipigon Stormwater Management System 2025 Annual Performance Report. This report was prepared for compliance with the Environmental Compliance Approval ECA number 233 S701 for a municipal stormwater management system dated September 30th, 2022, as issued by the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation and Parks. This report's available for review free of charge during normal business hours at the municipal office located at 52 Front Street, Nipigon, Ontario.
Okay, does anyone have any questions for Taylor on the Nipigon Stormwater Management System 2025 Annual Performance Report?
Are there no storm sewers in that whole? There's like 5 streets that have no storm sewers.
Pardon?
Are there no storm sewers on, there's about 5 or 6 streets that show on the map that they just don't have storm sewers?
Yeah, there are not storm sewers throughout the entire municipality, no. Yeah, some areas just use like ditching instead of stormwater systems.
Can't be.
I think that Greenmantle is one of my honor.
Yeah.
Greenmantle is one of the areas, right? So I live on that street, so we have ditching there to deal with all the drainage. Seems to do pretty well with that. Okay, number 2, RFQ award.
Okay, so the township recently issued requests for quotations for the supply of gravel, landfill cover operations. Each RFQ closed with either a single submission or a single compliant and competitively priced submission. So RFQ 2026-01 for gravel for the supply of various granular materials and our annual maintenance gravel, the township received 1 bid from Jim Nichols Trucking, which has been reviewed and determined to be compliant with the RFQ specifications and acceptable for award. The granular material pricing is as follows: Gran A $21.50 a ton, Gran B $10.50 a ton, reject rock $26 a ton, 3/4 rock $31.74 a ton, winter sand at $15.25 a ton, topsoil at $900 per 18-yard load, and then the granular A maintenance gravel at $16,125. And then RFQ 2026-04 landfill cover. For the equipment and operators required to complete the annual landfill cover, the township received 1 bid from Jim Nichols Trucking, which has been reviewed and determined to be compliant with the RFQ specifications and acceptable for award. The spring landfill cover cost is $38,250, and the fall landfill cover cost is $34,225.
Okay. Does anyone have any questions for Taylor about the RFQ? award? Okay,
I thought,
say, go ahead. Put on your,
yes, was there any, significant increase from prior years on this? With the fuel purchase?
No, the pricing actually pretty much remained the same from the 2025 rates.
Okay, good. Thank you.
good question. All right, you can move on to item number zero turn lawnmower purchase.
All right, so staff have identified the need to replace an inoperable zero-turn lawnmower. This equipment is essential for maintaining municipal green spaces efficiently, including parks, roadside areas, and other landscape properties throughout the municipality. Staff have reviewed available options and obtained pricing to ensure that replacement unit meets the operational needs and is compatible with existing maintenance equipment. The proposed purchase will ensure continuity of seasonal grass cutting operations across the municipality. Staff are recommending the purchase of a Toro 74005 commercial grade zero turn riding tractor. The total price, including HST, is $17,010.33.
Anybody have any questions for Taylor on that? Some lucky students gonna ride the brand new 3000 in candy red, candy apple. Be fighting over it. Quite a nice machine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, number 4, vacuum policy.
So throughout the 2026 spring season, the township has received resident complaints and requests regarding the condition and maintenance of municipal back lanes. Historically, the township has not assumed regular maintenance responsibility for the majority of back lanes within the municipality. Public Works operations have at times completed limited grading activities to address significant rutting, potholes, or access concerns. However, this work has generally been reactive in nature and has not included the placement of new gravel or roadway materials. A limited number of back lanes are currently maintained due to operational requirements associated with commercial waste collection access. At present, the township does not have a formal policy outlining maintenance responsibilities, service levels, or standards for back lanes. In response to the recent increase in resident inquiries and to provide greater consistency and clarity moving forward, staff have prepared a backlane policy for council's consideration. The purpose of the draft policy is to clarify the township's responsibilities respecting unassumed back lanes, reduce municipal liability exposure, establish objective criteria for the provision of limited municipal services, and ensure equitable and consistent treatment of residents and operational decision making. So the strategic plan alignment is developing and implementing a township backlane policy, aligns with goal 2 of the Township of Nipigon strategic plan, building Nipigon for now and for the future. The 6th action item is to determine and prioritize the policies and bylaws that need updating and undertake a process to update them. The absence of an explicit backlane policy to guide operational decision-making raises liability issues and fosters perceptions of unfair or unresponsive treatment of resident concerns.
Thank you, Taylor. And we do have the draft policy here. Does anybody have any questions for Taylor on the policy? Oh, no, it's way past the stormwater.
There.
Holy, I should have been doing this as taking the presentations.
Are anything's gonna be grandfathered in, like say back things that have been traditionally plowed or not plowed, but maintained all the while? Or a lot of people have their garbage pickup in their back lanes. So those lanes have always been maintained. Is that going to be continuing, or are we gonna start from scratch with a brand new policy?
That would be continuing, kind of as I noted, due to the operational requirements associated with commercial waste collection. So the back lanes that have been maintained for commercial waste collection will continue to be maintained.
What about residential?
Those would not be included in that, no.
I just have one question, so one of the, I think 8.2, inventory, the township may maintain an inventory and classification system for backlands within the municipality. So is that something that you guys are currently working on, and will it be attached to the policy, or is it gonna be separate from the policy, and it's something that's gonna be kind of ongoing for you? Like the inventory, so
Sure.
people will know, so you have something to point to if they come in and say, this isn't being maintained, and you can point to that inventory and say, this is not. We don't need it operationally, so we're not going to do any work in there.
Sure. If I may, PWS Haskell and I will work on an inventory of back lanes. There are some residential lanes where we have performed limited maintenance, so that we can provide residential waste collection, because we can't do it in the front yard. It's not practical for those residents. It's our expectation that that will continue in a very limited way that it does now. We won't be adding any material. We won't be removing any material. There'll be no hard paving in those lanes, at least in the foreseeable future, without council direction. But we'll continue there, and then maintaining kind of the existing, the purpose of the policy really is to sort of take what the township has done historically and codify it, set it down in print, develop a roster and inventory of back lanes, so that residents understand why we provide some very limited services in some back lanes, all the while not assuming them as highway responsibilities, and just as to give staff that kind of direction and support when they're responding to inquiries.
Yeah, I can see that might be an issue where someone is looking and seeing that some remedial work might be done on one lane, but not the other. But if, a clear policy, which you guys have here, which is great, but that inventory will help you to, share that information and help people understand the why. I think that's what a lot of the missing piece that can be for a lot of people, is to understand why something is the way it is. It's not just because that's so-and-so's cousin or aunt or sister, or that's why they're doing this, that's always the assumption in a small town. But this way it's a clear policy that you can go to and say, this is not based on any kind of familial relationship or anything like that. It's based on our policy. So, no, it's good idea. Okay. Anything else for Taylor on that policy? Okay, so that's the end of Taylor's report. So
I can go through my recommendations if you want, just to close it, or you'll kind of repeat them in the resolution.
Yeah, I mean, we will repeat those in the resolution. So sort of someone of us voting down a resolution, I think
Yeah.
should be okay. So the first one is basically to receive PWS Haskell's report. Who would like to move this resolution?
I'll move.
Second, okay, Councillor Harper. Resolution 2026-096, moved by Councillor Harper, seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved that that council receives Public Works Superintendent Report 2605-1202 for information. All in favor? Opposed and carried. Okay, so this is a resolution to receive the Nipissing Storm Water Management System 2025 Annual Performance Report. Would like to move this one? Councillor Westhaver would like to second. Councillor Cartwright. Resolution 2026-097, moved by Councillor Westhaver, second by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved, this council receives the Nipissing Stormwater Management System 2025 Annual Performance Report. All in favor? Opposed and carried. All right, next one is for the RFQ award. And who would like to move this resolution? Councillor Hart, who would like to second?
I'll second it.
Councillor Harper. So this is resolution 2026-098, moved by Councillor Hart, second by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved, this council awards a request for quotation for the supply of gravel RFQ 2026-01 to the sole compliant bidder, Jim Nichols Trucking. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. And this one is for the spring and fall landfill cover. To Jim Nichols Trucking, who would like to move this resolution. Councillor Hart, seconded by. I saw Councillor Cartwright first. So seconded by Councillor Cartwright. Resolution 2026-099, moved by Councillor Hart, seconded by Councillor Cartwright. Be it resolved that this council awards the request for quotation for spring and fall landfill cover RFQ 2026-04 to the sole compliant bidder, Jim Nichols Trucking, in the amounts of $38,250 for spring landfill cover and $34,225 for fall landfill cover. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. I just want to make a quick note here. Because we, there's some pushback from people outside of our community, in regards to us not allowing people from outside our community to even to pay, to use our landfill site. So here we have really quick math. Sam, so about $72,000 for the year just in landfill cover. That doesn't include our employee at the site. It doesn't include what we put away every year, which is $37,000 in 2022, and I think that's gone up. To have to save, according to our audited financial statements, about $7 million in 79 years, putting aside 38,000 against us to $3 million. So this is, having $10 here and $10 there is not just a drop in the bucket. It's like a bacteria in the bucket. It doesn't even touch cost recovery. So, we're responsible to our taxpayers, and I think that we made a good decision when we decided to do that, because it's expensive to run a landfill. So, anyways, I just wanted to make that note, because seeing all these landfill numbers made me want to make a comment about that. So,
And life inspectors.
but I'm sure there's other costs that go into it as well.
Pushing.
Yeah, the pushing and everything. I mean, yeah. Okay, the purchase of the Toro 7405 commercial grade 0 turn riding tractor. Who would like to move the purchase of this?
We just bought one.
I'll move or second.
Okay, resolution 2026-100, moved by Councillor Westhaver, seconded by Councillor Harper. Be it resolved, this council approves the purchase of a Toro 74005 commercial grade 0 turn riding tractor in the amount of $17,010.33, inclusive of HST. All in favor? Opposed? And carried.
Great place.
Okay, the next one is for the back lane policy. So it's to approve and adopt the back lane policy attached to and forming part of this resolution. And just acknowledging the purpose for the policy and everything like that, and directing staff to administer the policy in accordance with its terms, etc. Who would like to move this resolution? Councillor Hart. Second. Councillor Westhaver.
Next week.
Resolution 2026-101, moved by Councillor Hart, second by Councillor Westhaver. Be it resolved that this council approves and adopts the back lane policy attached to and forming part of this resolution, and that the purpose of the policy is to establish a consistent framework governing requests for municipal services on unassumed back lanes and rear yard access corridors within the township. And that council directs staff to administer the policy in accordance with its terms and to incorporate the policy into the township's operational and administrative practices. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay, thank you, Taylor.
Thank you.
All right, next on our agenda, we have fire department. Item A is April 1st, 2026, Nippigan Fire Department meeting minutes. We have a resolution for both sets of minutes. First, we'll look at April 1st meeting minutes. Does anyone have any questions, concerns about that? Okay, and then we have the fire department minutes for May 6th, 2026 meeting minutes. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about that? Those minutes.
I think it's really cool that they got to burn down one of those old buildings that for practice, and I think, as I understand, they're gonna be doing another one, the last one tomorrow, maybe.
Yeah, because they have to take everything down anyways, right?
Anyways, when it's really using for, that was very nice of them to let us all do that.
Great idea, because nothing is better practice than seeing how many of them have actually seen a real fire. I mean, some of them have gone to them, some of them haven't, but they're very few and far between, so
Like a controlled burn.
very cool, yeah. Okay. All right, so we do have a resolution to receive the April 1st and May 6th meeting minutes for Nippigan Fire Department. For information, who would like to move?
I'll move.
Okay, I'll take Counselor Cartwright for 100. And Counselor Harper as a second.
$50.
Resolution 2026-102, moved by Counselor Cartwright, seconded by Counselor Harper. Be it resolved that this council receives the April 1st, 2026 Nippigan Fire Department meeting minutes and the May 6th, 2026 Nippigan Fire Department meeting minutes for information. All in favor? Opposed? And carried. Okay. This is the section 10A Economic Development EDO Report 260508 Nippigan Wayfinding Strategy and Digital Asset Project that I will be recusing myself for pecuniary interest. And I will turn it over to our deputy mayor for that section, Counselor Harper. And maybe we'll get Glenn to read the resolution when it comes around since he's not here.
There's two. There's another one. Probably, I think it'd be three.
I wonder if we should have someone else be the mayor because you have to sign off on it. So Counselor Hart is the next one in the line, and just since you're physically not here, Greg, to sign off on the resolution.
Oh, yeah, okay. No
Yeah,
problem.
okay, so we'll get Counselor Hart to be the deputy mayor in this situation.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Would you guys like me to read through the report for you?
Yes, please.
Got it.
So the background behind this, Nippigan's tourism development, community branding, and regional partnerships are key priorities for Nippigan's economic growth. The 2019 Economic Development Strategy recognizes that Nippigan can no longer rely on a single industry. It identifies tourism, arts, culture, and heritage and entrepreneurship as focus areas. The vision for Nippigan to become a destination for travelers, a regional hub for services and recreation, and a sustainable community. The 2026 Tourism Product Development and Marketing Plan reinforces this direction. It states that tourism is central to Nippigan's economic future. The community increasingly relies on the service economy and tourism visitation to support local businesses and diversify the tax base. The plan identifies underinvestment, aging infrastructure, and lack of coordinated tourism information as barriers to growth. Both the wayfinding strategy and digital asset project were approved by the Nipissing Map Committee as priority implementations under the 2026 plan. Both projects address issues identified in the 2019 and 2026 plans, including outdated signage, lack of visitor information, weak tourism marketing materials. The wayfinding strategy supports converting highway traffic into longer visits by improving navigation from the highway to downtown, the waterfront, and local attractions. The digital asset project provides the professional photography and video content needed for tourism campaigns, websites, and print materials. Together, the projects support Nipissing shift from a pass-through community to a visitor destination. So there's a few options here. Option 1 is approve both project contributions. The township's $7,500 contribution would leverage a $17,500 contribution in partner funding for a total project value of $25,000. Both projects align with the economic development and the tourism priorities. Option 2 would be to approve only one project contribution, which would limit the town's ability to advance a coordinated tourism approach. The two projects complement each other. Wayfinding helps visitors move through the community while the digital assets attract them and encourage exploration. Or 3, to not approve any of the contributions, but this could result in the loss of partner funding and a delay in key tourism development actions. For financial impacts, the total requested township contribution is $7,500 as follows. Under the Nipissing wayfinding strategy, the township would contribute $5,000, the Nipissing Map Committee would contribute $5,000, and Destination Northern Ontario would match that at $10,000, for a total project value of $20,000. And for the Nipissing Digital Asset Project, the township's contribution would be $2,500. The Nipissing Map Committee would contribute $2,500 for a total project value of $5,000. In terms of strategic plan alignment, leveraging township investments in digital tourism assets aligned with goal 4 of the Township of Nipissing strategic plan, building Nipissing's tourism assets. The first action item is to continue to partner with the local destination marketing organization, Superior Countries, to market Nipissing in the region to visitors. Strategically targeted investment in digital tourism assets improves the breadth and depth of Nipissing's digital tourism footprint. Investing in wayfinding supports and aligns with the 4th action item, develop a plan and implement a highway signage program to tell the story of Nipissing to attract visitors in the community. As the report describes above, improving wayfinding with the Township of Nipissing complements previous investments in highway signage and wayfinding.
Are there any questions?
Does anybody know where the sign, who's gonna do the signs or?
Use your microphone, please, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, how many, are they gonna have signs on the east side, west side? Or was there a ban?
So that's what this money would go to, is developing a strategy that would encompass all of Nipissing signage, including the historical walking tour and our trail signage as well. So yeah, that would likely come out of the plan as to the best areas to go about implementing those signs.
And also, I guess we have confirmation that there's going to be grant money for sure.
There has been an agreement signed with Destination Northern Ontario, yes.
Great.
That's the leveraging that the MAT and the MAT committee could actually grow the money from a small amount to a large amount using that funding. And that's where Superior Country comes in, and they can do that. They have contacts to do that.
Yeah.
Anything else? Okay, first resolution we have here is to receive the EDO report. Be it resolved that the council receives the EDO report 260508-1 regarding the Nipissing wayfinding strategy and digital asset information. Anybody want to? Moved by Anne Marie. Second it. Deal with. All in favor? Carried. Scribble that.
Yeah. I'll make the changes.
Now, vote on how we want to proceed, option 1, option 2, or option 3. Any discussion? Right?
I go option 1.
Any scale? No. Councilor Westhaven.
Yeah, I think option 1 also, but
That would be the approval of both. Right? That would be the approval of both options, both things. Okay, I think we pretty much have universal support, so we'll do the wayfinding strategy first. Be it resolved that this council approves a township contribution of $5,000 towards the Nipissing wayfinding strategy. Move any members. Councilor Cartwright and seconded by Mr. Harper. All those in favor? Carried. Second one is, be it resolved that this council approves township contribution of $2,500 towards the Nipissing Digital Asset Project. The mover. Councilor Cartwright again. That seconder. Councilor Westhaven. All those in favor? Carried. Okay, I believe that's the end of that one. Okay. Get our regular mayor back in.
that's the big bang, first we get this, the most money to the communities. Yes. Yes. No, I don't want. Money's built up, comes up with that. Yeah.
Okay, oh, and this takes us to the end of our meeting. So I will go around and see if there's any other business. We'll start to my right this time. Councilor Cartwright, any other business for you? No. Councilor Westhaver?
No, good.
Nope. Councilor Hart?
Nope.
Councilor Harper?
I just have one thing. I believe it's Public Works Week next on from the 18th to the 24th. I don't know if I have my dates correct or not, but
It is.
Yeah, we should recognize the crew for sure. And I'm thinking we should buy them a Friday lunch or something.
So they would definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'd like to see anyways, because, you know, they're the main guys around town that are visible to the public and everything. And I like to acknowledge their hard work and all that kind of stuff. So Maybe a
Join us.
pizza lunch or something on Friday, you know, to,
And
Thanks,
then
Greg.
all their pictures too. If
Yeah.
they're comfortable with that,
Yeah,
people
yeah, for
them
sure.
Smiling and yeah, working away. They worked hard this winter. They always work hard, but it was a hard winter for them, so it'd be great to appreciate them. Thanks for that, Councillor Harper. Anything else?
no, that's it for me.
Okay. Councillor Cartwright does have something. Go ahead.
I think it snowed, we got snowed out of the mayor's, did we miss here? Or has that not happened?
It was yesterday.
It was
Yeah.
yesterday.
Oh, I can talk about it.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
yeah, I can update you on it. Yeah. So staff, CA Colvin, do you have anything? No. No? Brianna, no. Okay, I just have a couple of things. Pride flag raising, can you believe it's almost June 1st? So I just wanted to get ahead of the game on that and just make sure June 1st lands on a Monday. So Taylor, if there's something you can arrange to have one of the guys come, I'd like to be there, and anyone else who would like to be there on council, and maybe just have a post about it for anyone who'd like to go. I don't know what time the guys take lunch, so before or after their lunch, whatever works. Okay, but it's a
Yep.
so it should be okay.
We don't know what time it's gonna. I'll write it down for you.
No, we're figuring that out. She's gotta figure that out. Yeah, it depends on what they've got going on that day, but they'll post it and we'll let everybody know. The senior snow removal, came to a close. Maybe, I don't know, it depends. Maybe I shouldn't say anything to jinx it, but, so if it's possible to get a report next time on that, just the usage and any recommendations you have about moving forward, CEO Colin?
Yep.
That's okay. We do have a quad council meeting, the first time in over a year, I think. May 26th at 3 p.m. in Red Rock, which is great. We normally, the mayor and the CAO always goes, but we usually cycle through the council members. Are there any council members here who have not been to a quad council meeting yet? I think Gail, you were at the last one, Dory.
Yeah, I was in.
You have, yeah. Councilor Harper, have you ever been to a quad council meeting?
Yeah, in the past,
Well, in the past, but you haven't been under.
no, not on this council, no.
Okay, and Glenn, you've been, okay, so Councilor Harper, or if you're interested in coming to that quad council meeting. Can you maybe just check it, you don't have to let me know right now. It's May 26th at 3 o'clock, so it's in 2 weeks' time, and it's before our council meeting, because we have council meeting that night. In Red Rock. Okay, so then let me know if you can for whatever reason, if you're not gonna be back in town, then just let me know and then we can see if anyone else is interested.
Yeah, I'm not totally sure. I might be traveling that day. I'll have to check.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Senior of the Year plaque, we have our Citizen of the Year plaques up in the office, and I personally can't remember, but from what I understand, we have had a big plaque that has each senior of the year name on it. As of about 6 years ago or so, it went missing. So, I was just wondering if we might be able to get that back, like order one again to start up with. As far back as we can remember, we're just check back and see the last maybe 5 that were awarded, so we can start that again. It's always nice for people to come in and see who's been awarded, yeah, senior of the year. It probably runs the gamut of around $150 to $200, something like that. That's if everyone's okay with that. The lookout, because we're coming up to summer and I'm already seeing a bunch of tourists coming through with Minnesota license plates and everything. I just wanted to make sure that the lookout maintenance is planned for. It's thousands of people actually come through that. Actually one of the teachers I was walking with yesterday on the cleanup mentioned that every time, because she walks around there all the time, she said every time she walked by, that parking lot was full. And I remember the garbage is, they're coming there once a week, I think, June till maybe the end of August is probably not sufficient. I don't know if it's possible to get both garbage runs to come by there just to check it out, and make sure. You know, the garbages are changed and everything's cleaned up, especially with all the bears.
Yep.
And the overflowing garbages can be an issue. We now have a dog poop station up there and, I don't know how to make sure it's always full of bags, but maybe have a bunch of bags in my garbage truck or something, so when you go up, they notice like it's just part of the routine. Cause it's kind of like, otherwise it's just a little extra garbage can without the bags. It's kind of the point is to be able to have those people, you know, up front and center, clean up after your dog kind of thing. And then to have those bags if they don't, you know, they forgot them or they don't have them or something. And then the washroom to be cleaned and restocked. However that process happens, if there can be some kind of schedule on that. Cause it does get used quite a bit and, you know, that's the thing with having facilities up there. It's great to have them, but now they have to be maintained. And if they're not maintained, the thousands of people that go up there, it puts a bad taste in people's mouths, right? When they open the door and there's poop everywhere and all that kind of stuff. So as I know it, I mean, as best as possible, if that whole lookout can be maintained as best as possible, that would be really, really great.
Maybe the students can.
Yeah, whatever the process is there, oh, and the cleanup, right, so, yeah, yesterday was the cleanup, I did St. Edward's School in the morning and then Georgia Meal in the afternoon. It went really well, the weather was perfect, it was a little cold, but at least it wasn't snowing or raining, tons of garbage. Lots of garbage. They worked really hard. The 2 groups that I was with total collected 9 bags of garbage. Last night when I was walking by, down to the marina, there was like 4 bags of garbage piled up from the kids that went down onto the old railway line and down in the marina. Lots of garbage, the high winds, the bears, the people littering, all kinds of stuff. So just thanks a lot to the staff and students, and people can still go out. They didn't get to all of the parts of town. Obviously, they can only walk so far. So, you know, if people want to bring a bag the next time they go for a walk and bring some gloves, pick up some garbage. There's always garbage to be picked up for sure, but it does look a lot better now than it did before yesterday. So good job to those.
Highway staying too small.
Yeah.
People.
And Rotary Club has done parts of the highway, so thanks to them too. Okay. I think that's all right, so we're going to go into close. We do have closed session tonight. So who would like to move us into the closed session? Who would like to move this resolution? Councilor Gunslinger. Who would like to second? Councilor Hart. Resolution 2026-106 moved by Councilor Westhaver, seconded by Councilor Hart. Be it resolved that this council now resolve into a closed session at 12 p.m. Pursuant